Hi yogis, welcome to this short tutorial on how to get into side crow pose, and I'm going to give you some suggestions for warming up your body a little bit. You can always add this onto a twisting or a core practice at the end, and then I'll show you how to get into it, a couple of different ways, and then give you some suggestions for how to stretch out and cool down. So we're going to start, actually we'll stay kneeling, and you're just going to take your arms out at shoulder height, your elbows, and then you're going to exhale as you twist and inhale back and exhale. So what I'm doing is inhaling and exhaling quite forcefully through my nose, and I'm making this a bit like Kapalabhati breath or Bhastrika pranayama, so that there's like a twisting, a cleansing aspect to this movement. And you can go faster or you can go slower. Slowing down gradually, so that'll build up a little bit of heat, and then coming down onto your back, maybe doing a few twists on your back and combining that with a little bit of core work. So hugging your knees in, taking your arms out by your sides, squeezing your knees and your legs together, and dropping your knees from side to side, keeping both shoulders on the floor, hovering. And so on. And then from here, I'm going to lift my head and shoulders. I'm going to bring my knees over towards the right, flex my feet and stretch my arms out to the left. And I'm going to hold this, squeezing my legs together and lifting up, and then I'm going to start to push this right arm and left leg into one another. And then release, take my legs over to the left, take my left arm, push it in, and then lift. Really squeezing in, rounding my spine, imagining that I'm pushing the floor away. So this is what the pose looks like, but obviously you've got your hands on the floor when you're doing it. And then release. And then from here, just rocking up to all fours position maybe, and doing some wrist stretches. So I think this is, the more warmed up your wrists are, the easier that you're going to find any arm balance or any upper body strength work. So just rocking forwards and back. And then some circles. Keeping the weight towards the thumb side of your hand and really gripping with the pads of your fingers, going in the opposite direction. And then from here, turning your hands out to the sides. And again, rocking forwards and back. Maybe side to side. So it won't be a big movement, or it's not for me anyway, if you're keeping the heels of your hands down. And then from here, bringing your palms together, and I'll just turn to the side so you can see this one. From here, you're going to bend your elbow out to the side and then wrap it forwards, out to the side and forwards, side, forwards, side, forwards. And then flipping your palms over. Now this one with my broken wrist is quite a tricky one for me to do, but that's why I need to do it. So it does warm up my wrist after a little while. And then last one, turn your fingers to face inwards, just coming onto your toes and just rocking back. And you can adjust the position of your knees so that you can rock back enough to really stretch into your fingers all the way down to the tips of your fingers, just rocking forwards and back. Okay, so, and then shaking your hands out, and you're going to step your right foot forwards, and you're just going to come into a twist from here. So working at pushing your leg and your arm into one another, and thinking about the twist coming from your belly. And then just straighten that leg, little counter pose, and then switching sides. And then hooking your right elbow around, lifting your left elbow, and then the twist is coming, you're pushing the crown of your head forwards, the twist is coming from your belly. And then pressing back, little stretch into your hamstrings, and then plant your hands, down facing dog. So just to warm up the shoulders and start to take more weight into the hands and the wrists, maybe just flowing through a few sort of little vinyasas, so rippling forwards to your plank pose, and then chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Okay, so you can ripple through some of those, or you can go upward facing dog to plank, upward facing dog to plank, upward facing dog, and back to downward facing dog. And then one more with a chaturanga, because that's the shape of your arms when you're in this pose. So inhaling, rippling forwards to your plank pose, really engaging everything, coming forwards over your wrists, halfway, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to step my foot forwards and come into a wide leg straddle. And from here I'm going to take my left hand down, one more twist, and then think about drawing the crown of your head forwards, and then the twist comes from your belly. And then right hand down, left arm up. So push the crown of your head forwards and twist around. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands a little bit further over here, and I'm going to step this foot to the back of my other foot, and then my hands are nice and wide, and into my twist. And then from here I'm going to bring this right hand across a little bit further, and then I'm going to step this left foot behind my right, and I'm going to come into, so my hands are nice and wide, and I'm twisting as much as I can through the waist, and my knees are together and they're pointing the opposite way to my hands. And then from here I'm hooking this knee around. I'm basically just going to lean forwards until my feet lift and back, and then step back out. And then from here I'm going to bring my hands across this way and step this foot behind and turn the other way. So my feet and my knees are going in the opposite direction to my hands and shoulders. So I've got the twist in action, and then from here just bending my elbows, looking forwards and letting my feet float up and then back. Okay, So that's the version that I prefer, but there's another version where you're not balancing on one hand, you're balancing on, you're not balancing your hips and your legs on just one arm, you're doing it on two. And that needs more twisting. So with the scoliosis in my spine, I find it easier with the one arm version, even though it's a little bit more upper body strength. So the way that you'd come into this other version is to come into chair pose, bring your hands in front of your heart, and then come into your twist here. So work at your twist, really get that going, and then maybe opening your arms out as well to deepen the twist. And then you're going to start to lift your heels, and you're going to bring your hands down, but they're closer together so that your both elbows are supporting this leg. Then you lean forwards and lift your feet. So there's the two different versions and the different ways to come into it. So have a little practice, have a little play, and have some fun with it, you know. Don't be too precious about falling or anything like that. And then to stretch out, I would suggest something like this kind of stretch, really opening up into the sides of your waist, releasing the leg as well, so you've straightened out this leg. More of an external rotation in the hip as well. And then coming back up, switching sides. Up a little bit. And reaching over. And it doesn't matter whether you reach your foot, you can have your elbow up on bricks. You know, it's just about, as long as you can feel the stretch through this whole side of your torso. And then final resting, coming down, and maybe instead of Shavasana, just coming into banana pose. So you walk your legs over to one side and you walk your head and shoulders over to the other, and get both hips on the floor and rest here. Really big stretch, but a much more passive stretch, one that you can relax into and almost use instead of your Shavasana. And then when you've spent a few minutes on one side, just walking your feet over and your upper body over and coming into the same stretch on the other side. Just remember to have both hips down. So it's tempting to lift this hip up on the side that you're stretching, and then back, and maybe a little Shavasana. And when you're ready, just making your way back up and keep practicing it. It's such a good balance, because you've got the upper body strength, you've got the twisting for the detoxification in the body. So you've really two massive benefits there with this pose. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.